What is coming to you live from the Cat House in Montebello, California? It's time for Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast. The October 5th edition. The what the hell is going on this past week edition? What is up, people? I don't even know where to begin with today, because y'all know what's going on in the real world. As much as I try to not talk about the orange monster in Washington, we'll talk about that later. What's going on? I see Rolando Morales has joined us live on Facebook. What's up, Rolando? Let's talk about something else first. We're going to get to the orange monster. So, in the last couple weeks, a whole lot of movies have been pushed back to 2021 or even 2022. I just saw on the way home, Matt Reeves' The Batman was pushed back to 2022. Marvel pushed back all of their movies that were supposed to come out this year to next year, prohibitively. No Time to Die, which I'm sure was a crushing blow to my best friend Jai Polidor. It's kind of a crushing blow. I realistically knew, like, nothing's happened, especially after how Mulan performed on Disney Plus and how Tenet has performed in its incredibly limited release on whatever theaters are still trying to operate in the middle of this pandemic. But it looks like it's chaos for watching movies the traditional theater way. And as a person who enjoys going to the movies, it bothers me immensely. And I saw this morning there was a big news article that popped up on my news app that the company that owns Regal Cinemas, apparently some UK company owns Regal, so that means all your local Regals and Edwards. Apparently, they're just gonna shut down for unknown until further notice. Every Regal Edwards theater is gonna just shut down until, I guess, we can safely go back to the movies. Some of them are gonna be, hey, there's my son. Hey, cute guy. How you doing? My little boy walking on by, giving me a drive-by smiling. Hey. He's so excited to see Daddy talk on the podcast. He likes hearing Daddy's podcast voice. He doesn't get to hear it all that often. He only gets to hear it for 1 hour on Monday nights. He can hear Daddy drop the bass. He is quite amused when I talk. But as I was saying, the chain, Regal chain, Edwards, that chain of theaters is shutting down. Some locations apparently going to close permanently. Some are closing temporarily. They didn't release which ones are temporary, which are permanent. This is incredibly concerning. Yeah, you have all your streaming services scooping up movies. You have television networks scooping up streaming shows that get canceled and put them on TV because it's hard to produce. You see, something that happened a couple hours ago. I didn't get a chance to text it to my wife. It'll be breaking news to her. Netflix, they canceled Glow season 4. It had been renewed for a 4th season, but apparently, since I guess here in Los Angeles we're incredibly bad with stopping the COVID as well, and Glow is filmed here in LA extensively. The season 4 of Glow, even though it was approved for renewal, Netflix decided to take that back today and cancel it. Which I was, needless to say, I was pissed. I really enjoy that show. My wife really enjoys that show. I saw Mark Maron tweet about it. He's like, well, what can you do? Pandemic. And it just sucks. The pandemic is wiping out a lot of entertainment. At-home entertainment, streaming services apparently are trying to figure this out. I can tell you from the video game world, I don't know what it's like on the development side. I know from the retail side, video games are selling hotter than ever before because there ain't shit to do. I frequently discuss it with my managers at work. Games just keep selling. Like we're selling them at a much higher rate. I mean, year to year, we're like destroying last year. Even when it's supposed to be some of our down months. Although technically Q4 has started for everybody as of a couple days ago, October 1st. I have to start sending out emails to all of my customers like, hey, stock up your online stores for the holidays. Because I help run the wholesale side of our business. Yeah, video games are selling like crazy, but you see all these other forms of entertainment suffering, and it bums me out because I think the last movie my wife and I saw in the theaters before the pandemic. Well, technically, the last movie. Well, for us, it was the last movie we saw before the baby was born. And I was like, oh well, we were not going to the movies for a while. We didn't know that everyone else would be joining us and not going to the movies for a while. I forget if it was was the last one we saw Knives Out or Rise of Skywalker. I think it was Rise of Skywalker, right, honey? Yeah. I think that was the last thing we saw before everything went to pot. And it's kind of trippy to me that will the movie theater business recover from this being shut down for such an extended period of time? It bugs me. I saw Harold Hall here was watching. He works at one of the Harkins theaters over in Cerritos. I'm sure he's been at home wondering about his job. I mean, and all these thousands of theater employees wondering, hey, when do I go back to earn money, go do my job, catch some flicks? It keeps getting more and more hazy. The future of watching movies in a theater. It feels like everything's just like, okay, we're just going to have to watch movies at home, on demand.
What's that movie? I think is it with Jack Black or where like a magnet wipes out all the movies?
Be Kind, Rewind. Yeah, well, it's not. The movies are still being made. It's just watching them in a theater. That's what's happening. Or the shooting of a lot of movies. A lot of these movies have to leave the country. They have to leave the United States to go somewhere safe to shoot, because it's not safe to film here in America right now, because we're clearly incredibly irresponsible with our handling of the pandemic. And if you're wondering why my intonation is so weird, it's because I feel compelled to talk about it, but I kind of don't. So that orange fucking knucklehead, last Thursday, he caught himself some Rona. And naturally, as a narcissist sociopath with dementia, he is handled it as well as you can imagine. He immediately went to Twitter and announced that he had it. No less than 2 days after that debate performance where he was making fun of his opponent, Joe Biden, for wearing a mask. The hand of karma said, "Au contraire, mon frère." And here you go, friendo. Have some coronavirus. And yeah, I was calling it karma, but one of my Facebook friends, Luke Adams, is like, it's math. It was only a matter of time. And it just so happens whoever is writing the season finale for this year of 2020 decided to give us a little bit of hope or drama, or however we want to put it. Of course, naturally, this happens right before the election. Like, oh, look, like it's funny because yeah, Corona moved in on him like a bitch. You see, the Corona just when you're famous like Corona, you can just do whatever you want with them. I'm still wrapping my brain around this whole thing, because it's funny. Like that Thursday night, I happened to be scrolling Twitter when all that went down, and I was like, wait, what? No, he has it? No, because that's how much distrust that this sociopath in DC has. I can't even say it. I don't even want to say his name. I don't want the algorithms to bring me a bunch of his tribe. It's frustrating. This moron. He gets it, and he's sown such distrust in his words. Like, half of Twitter is like, "Oh, good, he got it," and the other half is like, "Does he have it? Is it a hoax?" Like, because as I texted frequent co-host Pete Molini about this. I compared this to an old Vertigo comic book called Transmetropolitan, and that was a very political comic book written by Warren Ellis. He wrote, it was very I don't know if it was very inspired by W or by the American politics at that point. Is that the writer is British, but he's clearly looking at what's going on in America back in 2000, and it was about the manipulator, a journalist fighting the president who clawed his way to the top. And I was joking with Pete. I'm like, oh wow, this is just like Transmetro. I'm like, oh, except that instead of killing people around him to move himself up, he's gonna try to kill himself to move up. Because the one of the villains in that comic book, the way he moved himself into becoming president is he just strategically killed an important person around him just before an election and tried to gather sympathy for that. Like, I believe just before the character's impeachment, he had his wife killed to try to stave that off. So I was just like, oh, like, wow, this is like the Republicans are probably cashing in their chips in this guy. Like, all right, let's just move on to this guy. Let's hand him the Rona, and like it seems like a comic book plot out of this comic book. Like half of Twitter doesn't believe it, the other half of Twitter is celebrating, and then yeah, it's funny the hypocrisy of the right wing extremists, where it wasn't that long ago, like, kill all looters, kill all liberals, they should all die. And then suddenly it's like, oh, well, we're kind of, those of us who are celebrating this, they're like, oh, how dare you be happy that he has corona? How dare you, or the leader of our free world, how dare you? Look how evil liberals are. I'm like, yo, y'all were just calling for the killing of any protesters. You're happy that little white boy in Minnesota rolled in and just shot people without giving them a single thought. What the fuck? It just, I haven't had a chance to watch that film that was recommended to me last week. It just the social network or social experiment or social something. Like, you see, my brain doesn't work outside. I'm an old dad. I'm a new dad, but I have an old brain. I didn't have my kids when I was in my 20s. I had my kids when I turned 40. So my brain hasn't been able to keep up with certain things like that. Lack of sleep and all. Social media, I find myself, I need to reduce the amount of social media I do, but I do this podcast. I need to get on here. I need to promote it. I need to make videos. I need to check Twitter. I need to check Instagram. I need to check everything. For my job, I have to check social media. I made a big deal with the bosses. But it just like that's like honestly my format for today. I was like, there wasn't much else going on in the nerd world. My entire Twitter timeline was either jokes about Cheeto Hitler or people reacting to jokes about Cheeto Hitler, and it's just like insane. I think the nerdiest thing I got through this past weekend. Let me just stow that topic for a little while. No, I won't. So this idiot can't take being in quarantine for more than 3 days. They put out some fake photos that he was working. They showed him autographing blank pieces of paper with a Sharpie, and then it was sleuth that those two photos that showed him at work. Apparently, they were taken 10 minutes apart from each other. And the cherry on top I really like was the what's his face? The doctor is just so, I don't know if he's just looking at himself or his political future. He was so evasive whenever they were asking him questions. It's like, oh, has the president been put on oxygen? Not today. No, he was not on oxygen today. So what you're saying is you guys had him intubated at some point, but you don't want to confirm that. Yeah, this doctor, as in, like, because I caught the news, like, we rarely turn on the news in this house because it's just been so negative, and we're trying to raise a child, we're trying to create a positive environment. That's why you don't see me crowing too much about this political stuff. I'm trying to maintain a positive environment around my little boy. I don't want him to see me angry and cursing out an orange monster all the time. I have to privately do it and quietly when he's in bed. I'm like, oh, fucking hey, what the fuck is going on in this fucking world? Or I do it at work. I talk to my coworkers about it. But, I don't know if you caught the news today, but this moron who's clearly struggling because he's an unfit 77-year-old, 74. He's in his 70s. He's not in tip-top shape. They gave him the best drugs in the world all of a sudden. I'm sure a person who's denied science for so long, I'm sure he loved science these last 3 days. Oh, he was all about science for 3 days. He checks himself out of the hospital. Clearly, I'm sure he checked himself out against physician's orders, against ADA, against doctor's advice, however you want to wrap that freaking turd. And then you see on Twitter a few hours ago, I guess he checked himself out at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 our time here on the West Coast. And the first thing the motherfucker does is take off his fucking mask. He still has the fucking virus. And he just stands, because his freaking narcissism, he can't help himself. He just stands there, takes off his mask, and then you see him, he's like, he is struggling to breathe. This psychopath, who is technically in charge of a lot of shit. This was just a crazy weekend, or the last 4 days. Like, anytime I wandered onto Twitter or Facebook, it was just all about that. I even made a meme. If you were checking our Facebook or checking our Twitter, I made a meme because I compared it to when if you remember Star Wars Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith, after stupid ass Anakin stops Mace Windu from killing Emperor Palpatine. But Mace Windu scarred him because he turned back that Force lightning back into his face. I was like, oh my god, that's so perfect. I've survived the assassination attempt of the Jedi. I'm like, oh no, I can just take that photo, just one quick Google image search, and I found that photo, and I was like, all right, boom, get to work. I've survived coronavirus's attempt on my life. That's basically Trump. He is Emperor Palpatine. The conspiracy theorists are, he's using this to drive sympathy. Look, coronavirus tried to kill me, but I've survived. I am scarred forever. I cannot breathe. It's just madness. I've actually been contemplating trying to figure out another meme I could make with all the other bullshit that's been happening in the last 24 hours of him checking himself out and him just saying there, oh, look at me, I'm fine. I've never felt better. I feel 20 years younger. Yeah, there's that video he put out yesterday, the day before, where like they clearly edited out all of his coughs or dry heaves. It's just, I don't know, man. This world is fucking nuts right now. I got as everything circles back to like, I gotta raise my little boy here in the middle of this insane world. We got an orange monster. I love that he's giving it to all of his people, and they're all just, yes, we'll take it. Yes, oh, we're fine. Yeah, I saw that. I saw this. Jai right here he had actually tweeted out how Biden doesn't have the coronavirus. He apparently Cheeto is thinking, oh look, I have a badge of honor. Look, I have the virus. Look, Biden is weak. He doesn't have the virus. Yeah, because Biden wears a goddamn mask. You didn't. Yeah, it's a moron. Some stupid Republican lady is like, how is it that all these Republicans keep getting coronavirus, but none of these Democrats get it? Because they're paying attention like, oh, maybe I should wear a fucking mask and not catch it. Rube. It's like these conspiracy theorists are going apeshit on this. I was like, oh, it's targeting Republicans. No, it's targeting the stupid. We're literally watching natural selection happen, but unfortunately, it's like shooting a shotgun. It's going to take out people that are trying to protect themselves, who are not stupid, but the stupid keep perpetuating this thing. That's why America right now, we're in so much fucking trouble with this goddamn virus. All these other countries are, oh, no, we're fine. Everybody, stay away from each other. Everybody put on their masks, and we're all hunky-dory. But here it's like, oh, how dare you? Let's sacrifice a week for my haircuts. But oh no, we can't sacrifice the orange fuck. Madness, I tell you. What am I supposed to do? I'm going to tell my son, my freedoms. I tell my son when he's older, yeah, the year you were born, son, you were born in the middle of a pandemic. You were born just before a pandemic. And we handled it incredibly dumb. Yeah. What's the first movie I'm going to go see in the theaters? I don't know. What's coming out in 2030? What's coming out then? I don't know. Maybe whenever Avatar 2 comes out? No, I'm not watching that. No, hey, I don't even know if that, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, I'm not even sure there's going to be movie theaters to come back to. Well, the family and I, myself, the wife, and the baby, we were driving around because it was hot as hell again yesterday. We were driving around. No Time to Die, how very appropriate for an attempt to go to RIP theaters, right? Irv, yeah, that theater around where you live, they're shutting down that Edwards. Every Edwards and Regal, down. The wife and I were driving around yesterday. We just got in the CRV, trying to stay cool. Just I happily sacrificed half a tank of gas to keep my wife and my baby and myself cool. And we drove up to Pasadena, and it broke my heart to see the discount theater, the Academy 8, had a fence up. And then my wife astutely pointed out, oh, they put the fence up, so yeah, that's right. That's what we talked about at the beginning of the show, right there, Danny. We talked about the Regal Edwards Caputs. My wife pointed out that they put up a fence in front of the entrance so that homeless people don't sleep underneath the big entrance that the old Pasadena Academy has. It was funny. It didn't really dawn on me until when I actually saw it. I was like, oh fuck, man, this whole thing is fucked. Like that discount, like even like a little mom and pop thing like that, those are gonna have a hard time coming back. On these massive chains, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna get themselves a corporate bailout. Yeah, AMC, yeah. I was telling the wife, I'm like, I think the leases that they probably have on these places, I'm sure the landowners aren't forgiving them because of coronavirus. Like, oh no, sorry, you have to pay. You have to pay. I'm pretty sure that Montebello AMC probably one of the first ones that they shutter, even though they fix it up. But yeah, it's like I'm not sure there's gonna be theaters if this continues. If we continue to be, well, maybe there's gonna be theaters internationally, but as far as America goes, am I gonna have to fly to another country? But will I be allowed to fly to another country because America is a home of a pandemic? For certain nerd things right now, it's incredibly frustrating. How can we wrap our brains around this? Yeah, AMC. I was thinking about the there's a lot of these like really cool chains like your Alamo Draft Houses. I'm wondering how I'm like, oh, I don't know if they're corporately owned. I don't know if they own the land that they have their theaters on. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they don't own the land on the one they built out here in LA. I'm sure the Austin one is probably going to be okay, but it really puts a lot of shit in perspective. How this whole thing has just been mishandled. Like we were talking about last week or the week before, where LA Comic Con was kind of trying to push through, like, hey, we want to do the LA Comic Con. There's still too many people who want to act like there isn't something wrong in the world, and that's why we're still like it's taking longer to recover because of this significant number of people who are just in abject denial of what's happening around us. I honestly had hoped that because Idiot Face got it, I'm like, okay, good. like I actually had like a hope, not that I wanted him to die, but that, look, Rubes, your leader, your dog whistle has it. Maybe, Florida, y'all can take this seriously. Maybe, Midwest, Orange County, or I'm not talking about you, but I thought I had hoped against hope. All right, maybe now this might put us on the road, like, and then because as a lot of these conservatives are, they only care about it when it happens to them. Like we talk about racial issues. They don't care about racial issues because it doesn't affect them. So I figured, maybe they'll care about the pandemic now that they see that their orange messiah, our messiah, our anointed one by God, he has it now, so we have to take it seriously. But no. Yeah, Jai Polidar here on Facebook Live. I didn't want him to die, but I would notice the air would be significantly cleaner if he did. I mean, believe me. I feel like it would solve more problems than it would cause. But yeah, pragmatically, just him getting it, I felt like that would be a wake-up call. But no, as Daniel Wong just said right now on Facebook Live, with the events, especially the last 24 hours, of him acting like, like he tweeted out, do not fear the corona, do not live in fear. He's just emboldened the stupid, which is where people don't understand why he is so dangerous, because he just does and says shit that inspires the stupid into thinking they're smarter than they actually are. And then that's I remember 4 years ago when I was sitting at old Sardo's getting drunk with old D-Loke and Connie and Lamar, and we're sitting there lamenting Election Day, and that's what I was. I've been afraid of this for 4 years. I'm like, no, this is just going to encourage the stupid, because we saw this during that campaign 4 years ago, that no matter what he did, people just followed him. Because he represented, he talks like I want to talk. He says what I want to say. I don't like the coloreds. I don't like the women's. Oh, yeah. Grab 'em by the pussy. I mean, any other campaign would have been ended for any of the number of things he did in that campaign. And because he won, that made me think, oh, wow. The stupid are just gonna feel so good, and they have. It doesn't affect me. My taxes haven't gone up. They have, stupid. Well, I haven't seen anything happen to me. Everything's going to fucking shit, and you don't notice it. The wife and I are trying to get a better apartment, and we can't find anything because all the landlords are paranoidally psychotic that no one can pay the goddamn rent. And they put all kinds of restrictions that we don't qualify for right now. That this is, people don't see what has happened around the world. Yeah, Daniel Wong, he was right. He could shoot someone in Times Square and nothing would happen. I mean, someone would die, but yeah, nothing would happen to him. Yeah, Trump says, don't be afraid. Like right there, here on Facebook Live, don't be afraid, especially if you have a 24-hour medical team and access to all the cutting-edge medicines. Yeah, he was, they sped through some test medicine onto him, which it was for they bypassed a lot of, I guess they bypassed some FDA stuff for humanitarian reasons, which I thought it was a big piece of irony. I feel like this might speed up his death. I don't know if he dies this week, and then we have President Pence for 2 weeks, and then who knows what's going to happen, as there's going to be a dead man on the ballot, because the ballots are out. Last Friday, I was reading an article on Forbes where they were explaining what would happen if the Orange Man were to die between now and Election Day. Apparently, the Republican National Committee would have a whole lot of work to do, and to desperately attempt to nominate someone else, but they wouldn't be able to put them on the ballot. So it'd be, you'd vote for the dead person if you wanted to, and then maybe the person that they've selected to replace them might become the president if that were to pass. But then it would require a lot of factions within the Republican Party to agree on something. Yeah, exactly. President Pence and Supreme Court Justice Barrett. Yeah, that's incredibly bad news. Yeah. I love how Turtle Man McConnell. We still wanna push through and get this Supreme Court Justice approved. We want to do that because I am absolutely pure fucking evil, and I am owned by so many corporations. I have to do exactly what they say. And that gif of him falling over, walking to a stand, Mitch McConnell. It has to be the little things that give me hope and provide me some joy. Let's not end the show on such a thing. Speaking of things that provided me joy, if you check out our Facebook page, or you check out both either this page, yeah, Barrett doesn't believe in masks either. Yeah, that whole, yeah, I love how everything revolved around that. They did that little ceremony to introduce her, and that's where pretty much they spread it to everyone. A lot of people who were hanging out at that little thing with no masks, or just talking in their face, talking to each other. They all spread it there. So this past Friday, I fired up the camera. I used our alternate page, which hasn't gotten a lot of use, our Dre's Geek Philosophy gaming stream, and I recorded a video of me playing Super Mario 35. If you don't know what Super Mario 35 is, it's a game that we talked about here a few weeks ago when they announced it on the Nintendo Direct. They did the big Mario 35th anniversary celebration. If you are a Nintendo Online subscriber, which I am, you pay the $20 a year to play all the old NES games and old Super Nintendo games on your Switch and to be able to play online against other people. They added a game called Super Mario 35, which is very much a battle royale game. I guess there's no really analog, I guess, in the same vein of like a Fortnite or whatever. It's similar to Tetris 99. So I put up a video of me playing it, and it's actually quite delightful. It's a bit of a challenge. You're playing Super Mario Brothers against 35 or 34 other people, and anytime you kill a Goomba or a Koopa Troopa, or even a Piranha Plant, or if you get so far, you kill a Bowser, you send it to someone else's screen, and there's this giant back and forth. If you, it's a lot better for you to go sit down and watch. You go check out that video. It's not on our YouTube yet. I'm gonna work on that after the end of this show. Oh, Daniel, check that. Yeah, it's a fun game. You can say I finished second in one of them. It truly is it's a battle for survival. At some points, it's just you have to get over a certain hump, and it gets to you watch the video and you see the one where I finished second. It's just who screws up first, and now it was me and one other guy, and I screwed up first. It gave me a different stage that I hadn't seen in a while, and I just tripped over my own 2 feet and finished second. But it's a fun game. It's included with your Nintendo Online package, but Goombas everywhere. Yes. At various points, the screen is just lousy with Goombas and Koopas. But you grab that, you grab your little invincibility star, you run through them all. I think there was another one on there where, like, I don't know if it was one I recorded or one I did after the fact, where like I lost because I ran out of time. I was just kind of like trying to survive by not moving, but I didn't realize, oh wait, I wasn't gathering time, because every time you kill the enemies, it adds more time to your clock. Because that's the other thing. Someone could just stay somewhere still and like outlast everyone else. No, you're playing against the clock too. The designers kind of thought of a lot of stuff. So a lot of game reviewers were dunking on the game, but it's pretty fun. Unfortunately, it's only going to be around for a limited time. I hope that they decide to extend it or bring it back at some other point. But I'm going to try to play it as much as I can, as much as a father of a almost 9-month-old child can play. And I'm going to try to put up some more videos of that. Especially now that we have Wi-Fi here at the house. Yoo! We're going to try to put up some more videos from here. Some more gaming videos. And also, put out the call. If anyone wants to join me on the show via Skype henceforth. If you want, I didn't have time to organize it this past weekend. But if anyone wants to join us on Skype, you can join me on Skype now that I have Wi-Fi here at the house. We can have guests via Skype if you want to chime in and have a join the conversation with your voice. I always appreciate it, especially when you guys chime in via the Facebook comments. But if any of you want to join in via voice and be a guest on the show, please hit me up. We can set that up via Skype. I got the laptop I'm always recording the audio on here on my left. See the little bright lights. Well, I'm going to be putting out the call. I always put out the call looking for guests, but usually it's a very restricted, trying to get someone to drive down here to Montebello. But now we will use the power of the World Wide Web, now that we have it here at our little cat house. If you want to jump in, let me know. We can arrange it. I need to set up a Skype test to see how well it records on here, or if the microphone will pick it up for Facebook. But we have the technology. We are capable of it. Instead of me just talking into the void, we can have another second voice talking to the void. As usual, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining in, as you do. Many of you join in every Monday night, and I appreciate it so much. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Follow us if you're not already a fan of the like. Yeah, vote for Jai. Jai can get on the Skype and chime in. If we can get him on a regular basis. I hate having to make him. Well, right now, before I used to bug me to have them make him drive up here, but now it's like, oh, if we can just have him jump on a Skype call, we can have him on, and you can hear his ridiculous phrases and tones and all the wonderful things he says, which causes people faces to turn red. My face. Follow us on social media at Dre GP Podcast. That works on Instagram. That works on Twitter. That works on Facebook. If you're listening to this and not watching on Facebook Live, like my cohorts here are. YouTube, Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast. I'm trying to get everything up there as well. I used to have to sneak it in at work, but now I can try to find time here at home and try to get the videos up. I still got to put the Mario 35 video up on YouTube. That's going to hopefully go up after I finish doing this live show. And as always, Daniel is one of our patrons. Art Solora is one of our patrons. Ryan Tanaka is probably busy at work. That's why he probably couldn't join us today. We have 3 awesome patrons. If you want to join them, you can donate on our Patreon. Dre's Geek Philosophy. And all that money goes towards helping pay for our hosting on SoundCloud. And now we can use that money to help pay the Wi-Fi bill here. And we eventually, if we get more patrons, I can get some games from work, stream them, and then give them away to our loyal viewers here. That's the long-term plan. That's supposed to, gotta put some incentive in there for people to donate to the Patreon. I know, Daniel, you do it purely for the love of the show, and I appreciate that. But I need to try to entice some other people to donate to the show. So that's why I'm throwing that out there. If we get more patrons, if we get to the point where, all right, cool, I have a little excess chunk of change, we reinvest that into the show. That's the whole point. I would invest that into either a new tripod or a new microphone or I could just get more games to stream, and we can stream them, and then once I'm done with it, do a giveaway. Fun times. Voila. We'll figure out that Skype thing and see if we can get Jai in here next week. All right, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This has been Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast. We're here every Monday night at some point at 8 p.m., depending on what's going on in our parenthood world here. It used to be promptly at 8 p.m. every Monday night, but now it's roughly somewhere between 8:15 to 8:30, or even 8:45 sometimes if it gets a little hairy here. Because a little baby can be very rambunctious. He is so strong. He is strong like bull, this little guy. I still haven't put up the sketch that I drew of him. I got to put that up. It'll be up on Instagram at some point in the next few days, hopefully. I drew a little sketch of my little guy around my birthday. We'll put that up. That way, we don't put up photos of the guy, but I'll put up some sketches of him. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.